as you can see, hello everybody. As you can see, we have our traditional projector screen set up, but as you heard me talk about some of the things we've been trying to work on and some of the technology that's been happening in the district is that we have smart panels that some of our teachers this year, we have 10 smart panels in the district that they have been utilizing in all 5 of the buildings. This is a demo smart panel. This is not a stand that we currently use. This is the only way to make it mobile. Our smart panels in our classrooms are mounted the way a smart board would be mounted. I currently am connected to it wirelessly. That is not connected to any computer. It is its own computer in itself. So it's got its own operating system inside of it, and I kind of say it's almost like its own iPad or tablet. Teachers can, log right into it, access everything they need through the web through that. But we've only had it for a couple of days, and I'm still learning it. So we are going to demo the demo, and I'm going to guide us through using my iPad as we scroll through the slides. And if we mess up, then we're going to go back to old school. Okay, so budget goals. So, it's been an interesting process when I am taking over this position, and really I spent a lot of time really learning what the budget was and everything that we have. I had the opportunity to work closely with Enrique, speak with both Lisa and Margaret about the programs that we offer, the software that we have, with my tech team to see, what is needed. I work with Anthony Merlini, really looking over everything that we've used in the district, why we use it, trying to talk to teachers, trying to talk to students about all of that. So in a lot of this process, we're trying to make sure that we continue the one-to-one model that we've gone to. Really create that mobile learning initiatives that have happened in both BV and both at Furnace Woods. Really trying to cut costs where we need to, but at the same time spend the money where we need to. Really, utilizing our technology in an effective way, whether that be training for our teachers, training for our students, training for myself as we're demoing this board, but really trying to learn and utilizing a lot of people in the region and talking to people, finding out what best practices are, what people are using, and try to make these smart choices. So this is our 5-year plan. So every 5 years, every building has a different upgrade. So as we said, Furnace Woods and BV had their one-to-one initiative that took place the past 2 years. BV has been doing very well with their one-to-one. They've been very excited about everything that's been happening. Usually, if you can see some of my tweets that I put out, it's usually students, the excitement of students in these buildings, in the classrooms, and the teachers that are utilizing it. Frank G. Lindsay is next in line for this, so we're currently in the process of identifying what kind of technology that is going to best fit them, working with the principal, surveying the teachers, and really trying to see, what's going to work. And then we have the following year Blue Mountain, and then the high school, and as well as the district office. So you're going to see in the budget overview that the numbers are a little bit off kilter at different places, but you'll see that it's only about, under $100,000 difference in a total budget of 2.9% change. One of the things that I did, and again, I had the help of, like I said, a lot of people in this room, Enrique, a lot of the people up in the district office, is really trying to identify what was purchased, under what codes, how was it done, really trying to make sure that we identify everything where it really needs to be. So we took a really big inventory and then really tried to identify for future, really making sure that things match up where they need to go. So I'll go down into a little bit more detail as we go through. So one of the things that we have, hardware. So as you see, this is a picture of Anthony Merlini, Buildings and Grounds, and one of Lorenzo, one of our members from the EduTech team, looking at the server at BV, trying to make sure that it's ventilated properly, things are working. So that's an example of an item that we need to make sure that we have the switches, we have the servers, we have everything we have to work properly. That includes maybe the AC units. We're always trying to make sure that we're monitoring these rooms to make sure that there's not overheating. At the same time, we have things under lease, but something could go wrong. We need to have emergency funds just in case. This is what controls all of the information across the district. So we have a main one at the high school, at the middle school, then each building has a smaller one and one here as well. So making sure that everything really is connected and working. Project Lead the Way. We've heard great things over the past few months about what Project Lead the Way does. They do need a lot of equipment. So I've been working with the high school, identifying specifically what they do need. A lot of the students are using Chromebooks, but in Project Lead the Way, they have more specific requirements and specs that are needed for, say, for a specific type of laptop to really utilize the high-tech learning that they're doing. So that's included in some of this hardware. When we think about contractual, there are a lot of vendors, a lot of people that we work with. One thing you'll see in the top right is our website. So that's Blackboard. That's something we have to pay for annually, that we have to make sure that is up and running. It's our main way of communicating to the community everything that is happening. We have Infinite Campus, so when you guys get those lovely phone calls from me saying, good morning, this is Laura Nyer, or good evening for a delay, we're using Infinite Campus. So Infinite Campus is not only our data system where we have report cards, teachers are putting their grades in the system, everything, all of our information and data that we use throughout the district. That's one of the many things that Infinite Campus does. So we have just accessing the web. We have to pay for our usage of the web. And one thing that we're doing this year is creating a redundancy so that if something happened, if a storm happened, a tree went down and cut down some lines, we have redundancy so that we will not go off the network. Cisco helps us with our phones. We have warranties on a lot of the equipment that we have to make sure that if something does happen, we do not have to go out of pocket and buy something brand new. They are monitoring that and having warranty systems. We have cable. EduTech is, again, the guys that we see all the time. So here's our lovely EduTech team. These guys have been a new team for us this year. So that is Lorenzo, Eric, and Steve on the left. That's our threesome. So they are known throughout the building. If you have students in the buildings, they know who their tech guy is. They'll be, hi Steve, hi Eric. The teachers rely on them daily. So we have help desk tickets put in there. 2,782 help desk tickets have been addressed since the beginning of the school year. So it could be something as simple as the printer's not working, they're having issues with a smart board, they're trying to figure out how to make something work for a computer, they're logged out of their system. They are there to help, and so they are each assigned to different buildings. So we have Steve is assigned, he sort of oversees everybody. He's assigned to Frank G. Lindsay in the district office. He's making sure that all the important data financially and things are working here in this building. Eric is at BV and Eric is at Furnace Woods and the middle school, and Lorenzo is at BV and the high school. They do help each other out. They work together very collaboratively as a team. They're irreplaceable. They're great guys, and they have a management system that works above them that really supports us and provides help when we need it.
And I just want to jump in. When we buy the EduTech service, they're the bodies, they're the hands, working with us. But we purchase the service on the back end. So something happens on the weekend, something happens at 10 o'clock at night. They have a team of people that can be deployed if it's not these three. So it's not a 9 to 5 group that we go home at the end of the day and cross our fingers and hope nothing bad happens because we can't address it till they come in the next day. It's 24/7.
Yeah, and they don't follow the school schedule, so they are corporate. So, for example, I think I mentioned at the last meeting that during the February break we had some things happening in the buildings. These guys were here. They were, working with Meteor Education, taking them around, looking at the furniture audit, looking at the smart boards. They are here at all times. If the building is open, they are here. If the building's not open, they are working remotely. So they are constantly working. They have alternating schedules to make sure there's coverage. Steve will be texting me in the evening to let me know if there's something's going on. So it's really nice that they are always available when we need them to be available and really flexible.
Laura, I just have a very quick question. Do we keep the same people year after year, or does it change? Because we are buying the service, not the people.
Yes, so we are buying the service, and the team can change, and it has changed. This is actually a brand new team.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So ideally, the goal is that this team's going to stay put for a while, but what we do is, so for example, today I met with their manager and really to evaluate and identify what our needs are as a school district, and then EduTech will make sure that we have the right people to fit our needs and what we could do. We could hire them for additional services at times, whether it's an installation of something or Smaller projects we can outsource through them, but really they can rotate. EduTech is a company that really tries to promote within and keep their guys, and so we have lost a few of their of our team, but it's because they've been promoted from within. The plan though is that these guys are not going anywhere. Told them they're not allowed to leave. But no, they just really all started us. So Eric, who's in the middle, began in the middle of last school year. Lorenzo came probably just about when I started in October, and Steve started late in the summer. So they've been really working on their, collaboration and working as a team together, and then working with me as a team. We meet on a regular basis every week where we're updating things. So the goal is to keep them together. But if we needed somebody else or something didn't fit, we are buying the service.
And we could add people if it was needed.
Yep.
Okay.
One example is we talked about the library. Jill left, but Jill has been looking to support us with a grant to hook up some Wi-Fi out by the football field. So Jill came over, met with Mario, who's one of the higher ups at EduTech, and Steve and Anthony Merlini. We toured the site to figure out what kind of work we can get done. So it's really, like, they have a lot of things that we can get from them as needed. If we needed more, we needed less, we can move it around.
Do these guys also participate in our safety training and meetings for the buildings? For like
They do not.
lockouts, those kinds of things?
They do know what those are, but they don't. So if we are in a lockout, they're going to participate. They're not going to be wandering. But they're not. They're not part of faculty meetings or anything like that. But that's actually not a bad idea to think about. Software. Software is a big part of our budget. A lot of what we do with, a lot of curriculum and instruction is connected to the software. Anything that is, students have their hands on and they're working on. And also we have, Lightspeed and GoGuardians, and these things are making sure that students are safe on the internet, safe in their classrooms. So here's a little bit of a sampling of much of the software that we use. So iReady we use in collaboration. It used to be and Margaret could probably speak a little more detail about this, but it used to be something that we did just for specific students, and now it's K through 12, typing PalRaz kids. We use Frontline right now for IEPs, IEP Direct, but we're going to be adding some services for evaluation and RTI. Basic things like Microsoft Office that some we might just take for granted. These are important things that we have to pay for every year. Same thing as Adobe. Adobe Suites is a big thing. They just changed the licensing structure. It's all cloud-based now. It's no longer device-based. So when we renewed this year, we really had to change how we manage that per user and not per device to try to do the best cost savings as possible, but make sure all people that needed it get it, and that's staff and students.
So you have to update which students every time they change an elective for one of the classes, or?
So in the middle school, for example, where students might go into art and design on a rotating basis, those rosters need to be updated to link them to the software. Otherwise, we'd be paying a lot of money for a lot of students that aren't using it at all times. But the student then gets a specific license and can use it at home and at school. And the teachers have it as well. And it's little things. Just wanting to create a PDF, save something to PDF file, we need to have that Adobe. So this is just some, interesting fun photos of just kids working on this. So you walk, I believe it was at BB, walking into classrooms in the library, seeing kids working collaboratively, sometimes 2 students on a Chromebook in the library. The second picture is students actually using iReady in their classroom while the teacher's conferencing in the background. One thing that's been pretty cool this year is that students no longer need the librarian to manually check them out. They are scanning it themselves. The picture of the little girl on the right is scanning the book herself, which is teaching them some empowerment. When we talk about Adobe, we think about, like we said, like the PDF and all that kind of stuff, but I was lucky enough in the middle school to share with me some of the work that their students have produced using the Adobe software. They rely heavily on that in the arts programs in middle school and high school. So these are some, I took Enrique's cue here and put some of our beautiful artwork from our students to give you a few seconds to enjoy. A big area that we've been talking about is the whole STEM idea. This is a picture of Megan Boyle, who's been working as a librarian in the elementary schools. This is Ozabots happening. A lot of people get to see some of the things about Ozabots, which is really teaching kids a lot of the basics about coding. On the bottom left, you'll see those are different apps. So one thing that we're doing right now is we're piloting in the library is the use of iPads. The Apple products have a lot of free apps that kids are able to really get the basics of coding, and they have them K2, 3, 5, and you can keep going up in grade level. So we've really been exploring and kind of seeing how that works. It's been a lot of fun. Kids are having fun, to use these programs, and the apps themselves are completely free, so it's $0 in the budget. And finally, the nitty-gritty supplies. So someone always needs a keyboard or a mouse or a cable. I can't figure out how to charge my laptop, or where's this cable? Just recently we were able to get headphones for the middle school so kids can work independently while in the class on their Chromebooks. So anything that we need, from office supplies to repair parts, all those basic things fall under the supply area. And our lease, so this is some of the things when we talk about the 5-year plan, where we want to go next year with Frank G, is looking at Smart Panel, which is what we're viewing right now, printers and scanners and tablets and iPads and desktops and PCs and laptops and Chromebooks. So trying to make the decision about what we really need, how to make things last. One interesting thing is traditionally teachers have had the desktop, like what you can see connected over there to the projector, but we're finding that there's a lot more laptops that are a little bit more affordable, that are even sort of like half Chrome, half laptop. So teachers can use that as their teacher computer, but then move away, not be tethered to the smartboard, and do work, whether independently or collaboratively, and then plug back into the smartboard. Or if you're using a Smart Panel, you don't even need to be plugged in. So that's, again, in the process right now of trying to identify exactly what we need. And this is just some quotes from people who are using the Smart Panels. We talked about Janine Hall. She gets a lot of press lately. So she's one of the teachers. She's a tech coach, so she's also one of the teachers who has a Smart Panel this year. One of the things she was saying she loves about it is she shares her room, and she teaches a lot of different courses, so she's running around all the time. So she's able to have everything prepped and ready to go. Doesn't need everything to log on. And something as simple as the whiteboard. So if you think about a tablet you're using, you can keep, just swiping and swiping. So she has students who are able to collaboratively write on the whiteboard and work together and just keep moving the screen and not be confined to just the rectangle that's there for them. Teachers can cast out. So what I'm doing right now is I am casting to the Smart Panel. But a teacher can also cast from the panel out to student devices. So if I'm a student and I'm working collaboratively with someone and we want to share what we've done, we can just do what I'm doing right now, which is share my screen with the monitor. Teacher has control over that. So there's a lot of cool potential about what can get done. And the teacher, so that's Mrs. Fanning in first grade. She has her kids using one-to-one Chromebooks, and she is casting out. So if you see this next picture, there are students who are in individual places. We talked about active learning, which is we know is important for students, and she's talking about how even the most distracted student is now becoming engaged because they're able to sit where they want to sit, work with where they need to work. The teacher's able to move around the room, and she's able to push out a lot of the information to them instead of them all having to kind of squish it and be in line inside of the board. So we're actually getting a full day of training on Monday. Well, half day for elementary, half day for secondary, to really, reflect on the work that they've done and what they've already learned with the Smart Panels, and share best practices and see what else we can do. So that's really informing a lot of decisions as we move forward. We can't forget about our staff. So my thing's not working. So this was recently we had teaching assistants that were getting trained using Google Suites. The top right corner you can see these are secretarial staff. It's really important that we as a district have really embraced Google and using the technology, so we want to make sure that those who are supporting us in all of our positions are also doing that. And they're being taught by Calvin Ruiz, one of our trainers. And the bottom right is a training session that's offered through the purchase of the panels from the company Tech with some of our tech coaches on the bottom right.
We're continuing with the tech coaches, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So any questions or thoughts, considerations as we,
I just wanted to clarify, so it's not so much that the software costs are going up 60% next year and supplies are going down 66% next year, it's that the allocations and where we're putting those with the budget codes have changed?
Yep.
Is that right?
You see how I was able to scroll right from that slide to the other one?
Very nice.
When I walked in and observed at BV, I was just so amazed at how the children just go and take, the little first graders take their little Chromebooks, log in, and do what they have to do. And they're in small groups all doing different things, and it's very impressive to see how well trained and involved the kids are, and I find it incredible, and just, knowing from what my grandson's doing, give him any kind of technology, and he's totally engaged, and
And what's interesting is, I was talking to some of the teachers, it's not as if these kids are on the computer all day long.
no, it isn't.
They're very purposeful. And so I know as a parent of children in elementary school, I'm always thoughtful of how much screen time my children have. And so they are still breaking away and using pen and paper. We are not, that is still technology. A pen and a pencil is technology. They are still utilizing all these aspects. And when necessary, using the technology of a Chromebook or an iPad, things like that. And it's monitored and managed, and that's what's really important, the work that they're doing.
No, but I think that that's the nice part,
Yeah.
is that you see kids who are, working with the teacher and doing pencil and paper things, and then you see a group that's actually up at the smart board and they're actually conducting their lesson
Yeah.
at the smart board, and then you see another group that's reading books and another group that's working on their assignments on their little Chromebooks.
Yeah.
So it's just great to see. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? We're fine.
Well, I was looking at the Frank G. Lindsay hardware, with how it was under review. I was wondering if you can give us some examples of the types of things you're thinking of using there?
Sure.
Or-
So one thing we're thinking about, and I'm a little going out of what we've done in the past, is looking to bring more iPads into the lower levels. So a lot of feedback has been that the little ones don't, even with the Chromebooks that they have, they're touch Chromebooks, but they don't really use the keyboard right now. They kind of peck at it to log in. Some people have challenges logging in with the Chromebook, so we're looking to see potentially maybe bringing iPads into those lower levels. The price is the same at this point for Chromebook and iPads, and everything works together. So like with this smart panel, it used to be you had to be all Apple, you had to be all PC. Now everything gets along. So if I'm on a Chromebook right now, I can use this screen. If I'm on my iPad, I can use this screen. We can all communicate together. So I've been speaking with teachers to see what they think, what they like. It's funny, some teachers already have their own iPads that they bring in because they really like the way they work. Some people really love a Chromebook. So it's just really been a conversation with the principal and the teachers. I just recently sent a survey out to them to really get more detailed feedback about how they think they would use each product, why they would find it beneficial. Do they want a desktop? Do they want a laptop? That includes printers. That includes, right now, making the decision about, do all classrooms have a printer? Is there a larger printer that's just going to print color when needed? Scanners, we just had an audit done of all the smart boards and to identify how old they are, and some of them are very old. We've been really trying to make do. The Edutech staff has really been trying to kind of junkyard pull pieces from old smart boards and make the other ones work. So we've been kind of putting a lot of Band-Aids on, but we're going to need to replace some and really identifying where those replacements should go, and looking at the smart panel and also trying to find the most affordable. So this is probably $1,000 cheaper than the panel that some of our teachers have. So again, that's why I'm demoing it, to see, what are the differences and can we get just as much out of it without spending so much money. Even just moving a smart board costs about $700 for installation, so taking all that into consideration.
Has there been any discussion on like 3D printing, when you talk about printers?
We have
We have them already.
Yeah, we have them in the high school and middle
Yeah.
school.
For the elementary schools?
I will check. I know the last round of funding through the Education Foundation, we're gearing up for elementary and then all of the software that comes with it. It's actually part of our multi-year plan of Project Lead the Way Continuum, starting in elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all excited. Thank you very much.
Thank you.